皆さんこんにちは。新機材連盟
My name is Aki Yoshi, Executive Member of Japan Association of New Economy. Now, we would like to start session 3, New Age, New Opportunity with Women, Why Women in Business Now, with Horie. Horie is from Japan, but she's actually the founder and CEO of a women's startup lab located in Silicon Valley. And she's trying to convert these female startups into strong ones that can really lead the world. I hope you can learn from the session. And Ms. Horie, please take the floor.
Hello, everyone. My name is Horie, founder and CEO of a Women's Startup Lab. We're located in Silicon Valley, Northern California. We run Women-Focused Accelerator. My focus is make female entrepreneurs stronger and build the company. But not only that, they're the one who is going to lead and influence the world. I'm actually from Japan. I was born and raised in Hiroshima. I consider myself actually donuts with red bean filling inside. I was here until 18 years old, and plus 20 years in the United States. So outside, donuts American, but inside I have sweet spot as a red bean. One of the things I get to discover last 40 years of my life was being Japanese, but to be able to see American culture, how they thrive. Also being a woman and being in male-dominated tech industry as a woman entrepreneur. There's many challenges that comes with it, but as an entrepreneur, you choose. You choose to be in it. Through my journey, I learned several traits, several tricks, and I would like to share this with you while we're speaking about the opportunity through women. Because I believe there's a lot of opportunity. Each one of you here has that entrepreneur spirit inside you. Often, people ask me, Ari, how did you get to be where you are? You're a Japanese woman, go to America and doing what you are doing. So I had a moment to kind of look through what have happened. And I hope through this conversation, you find some of your entrepreneurship spirit within you and leave with the possibly action that you want to take. Who's an entrepreneur? Often in the industry, younger male with engineering background. I have 3 pictures here. Can you guess who they are? The boy on the right-hand side, if you look at his cheek, maybe you can identify who he is. Steve Jobs and Zuckerberg. They're actually my neighbor. I used to live in a Cupertino. Apple was in a Cupertino. Now I live in Menlo Park, and I see Mark once in a while, walking down with his wife. And the one in the middle, looking like a boy, but that's actually me. Maybe that little boy things that kicked in inside me that I wanted to pursue entrepreneurship, whatever the reason. I was very timid. I cried a lot. Talking about identity. When I was 7 years old, my mother, who was a single mother raising an only child of me and living in Japan, she felt many things against me. I was very different. And she was really worried that I'm too weak and timid. To give me a strong identity, she took interesting and drastic step to give me a pink backpack, pink no randoseru, while all the other girls had a red backpack. As you know, as 7 years old, having identity, to fit in, being liked, and fit in was really, really important, that age group. Throughout my year, I remember coming home crying that people were picking on me. Whether you fit in this Japanese culture or not, every one of us had those moments that we don't fit in, and we have to hide it, and fearful that people will not like you. And that was my day when I was 7 years old. Now, every day I come home saying, all my friends said this. And this is where my mother took an interesting step, said, don't believe everything what other people said. Ask yourself, is it really true? Are you stupid? Are you unlikable? Question yourself what others said and believe what you want to believe. Of course, at 7 years old, I did not understand. But she specifically made a choice to do something to create an identity. What is your identity? Mikitani-san has identity and a brand. I read his newsletter. His identity comes through. He's a leader, visionary. What is your identity? Even though you work for the corporate. One of the things I want to talk about is you as a man. You got this identity as working, building a career rest of your life. If you're a woman, you've been given identity as a woman as caring, loving, good at home, possibly creating a great, awesome meal. Is that identity you had a choice to choose and pursue? Or were we born into the culture that was a monoculture that they expected you to pursue? The identity sometimes in a way that you didn't have a choice, and then there's identity that you can actually choose. In this particular culture that we live in Japan, this is something I would like to shift and question. The identity you currently have, did you have a choice? The women that you work with, do you think the identity they pursue, do they really have a choice? When you have an identity as an entrepreneur, that's the beginning of everything, beginning of creativity and the beginning of leading others for the vision. Be shocked. I love this picture because I don't know why she's screaming. When I was 17 years old, I went to America as an exchange student. I spent a year, and I came back to Hiroshima, just a year. I was shocked because in short time, a year, I changed. Inside me, I didn't know. Unconsciously, I started thinking differently through my experience. As Japanese, I was taught to think, plan, think, and I take action and get result and learn from it. As a monoculture, as a collective culture, that was really important. But while I was in the United States, I was forced to and asked to think differently. Instead, I was asked to do, think, do, and learn. And next thing, think, do, learn, think, do, learn. It's taking action constantly. Faster it is, I fall many times. I made a mistake. People laugh at me with the poor English. Instead of asking, I would like to buy a book, I said, I am a book. Completely wrong English, correct? So after a year in the United States, when I came back, I was shocked at how much shift I had in my head, the way I see things. I begged my mom every day from there 2 weeks, saying, I would like to go back to the United States. I said, there's so many people care about me in Japan, they don't want me to fail. They tell me not to do. They don't want me to fail. They don't want me to ruin my life. But I love trying. I love failing and learning, and I want to do as much as I can. And as my mother said, I don't want you to believe what other people said. Do your own and form your own opinion and be responsible for about that decision you make. And so even though she's a single mom and didn't want to send me away to United States, she decided to let it go because I precisely said exactly what my mother asked me to do. I share this with you because I was born and raised in a very strict family. My mother comes from the governor's family. It was very strict. Though I learned to think differently, identify what matters to me, I was able to articulate what I wanted to do, and I got an opportunity to go a place where I could try. Many of you here because you want to create innovation, breakthrough business, to create a new opportunity and generate a revenue and be a player in the world. It takes that much of a challenges. It does require failure in some level, but meantime, you get to learn a lot of things. Learning in the way that you have a data to give you one step might not be the 10th step of $1 million, but a one step give you the next step. The learning is everything. While I speak about women's opportunity for the economy, for men, and for business, I often think about what we do that sometimes limit us in thinking. When we think about innovation, we often think about technology, right? But I think there's a lot of innovation actually happen how we shift our thinking. For example, Zipcar. The car has been around. Nothing new about that. But she shifted the way she thinks, and she created a market. When I think about men and women, I think about be like bamboo. And I also talk about bamboo as expression of entrepreneurship. It's strong, yet flexible. It doesn't fight with the weather, but it's swayed, because sometimes markets come and knock you off. And you have to stay around flexible enough to let the weather goes by, and hopefully you're still standing, go right back to where you started, your mission. Bamboo is always go back to their core. They're also a source of high growth. Also beautiful. Beautiful plants, like apple product. You could have all sorts of decoration on a Christmas tree, that sort of stuff, but bamboo is just simply beautiful. Being an entrepreneur, creating innovation is all about sometimes creating something big, but yet something simple that's powerful. I feel like bamboo represents in many ways. Now, did you notice men and women were both human, yet were fundamentally same as a human being. But yet, we have different traits. Scientific, we all know the strength that we have, the way we think, the way the brain works. Of course, women have some traits that it's better at a certain job than the other. Nothing wrong with that. There's something wrong when they don't choose to be in that role, but they don't have an opportunity to completely express in a way that make an impact in the business. It's called unconscious bias. Men has it, women has it toward women too. It's not about men's wrong. It's just that we as a human, we have unconscious bias. When we look at the bamboo, it's outside, it's tall, strong, visible. That's like men. They're out there, making the business happen. But women often, in the background, they're holding the ground, connecting the dot, creating a community, and solving a problem before it gets bigger problem. Sometimes people describe women are more like fire preventer, and men are firefighter. This is a picture of a bamboo root. It's go deep inside, and they don't stand alone. They collectively grow together, and the root is this rigor. They connect, they support each other, And if you put the bamboo inside a plant, they will even go outside of a pot to look for the root. They're resilient. Women might not have a strength, but they have a strength to stand strong in many circumstances and endure in the challenges. So what I suggest is, yes, women might be certain way. You might think they might have a certain trait that they might be good at, type of the skill. But they also have incredible amount of intelligence and opportunity for them to rise up, be in the center of the forest, just like bamboo. Talking about opportunity, Japan has this wonderful conversation about having more women back to the forest and utilize them to create a more economy movement. Not bad. Turns out they're worst. Out of all the countries that has a great economy growth, Japan is actually the worst. The first place in Norway. And you might think, I'm from America right now doing some of the women work. They must be pretty advanced, but they're actually in the middle. When I look at the Norway, as women in Norway, start asking what they want. They stand up together, they collectively start asking for the change. That's how they did. I don't necessarily think that's how Japanese will do. We have a certain culture, certain consensus, have to be created our own. But it's 100 years project. We just begin to do this. The good news is, Japan is one of the top 3 countries that has the highest graduate degree by women. 93% of a female graduate from the university, much, much higher than the other country. So in other words, you have a highly, highly talented resource, yet hasn't been utilized. That gap, a bigger gap, means more opportunity for you. I think knowing the opportunity, shifting that to action in a way that you feel like changes are happening with the woman, it's challenging. Going back to the identity, there's many, many value that we inherited. It's been given by our culture. Japan has a beautiful culture, respectful, collectively, agreeing something we decide. But at some point, especially the world moves so quickly with the technology. We need to start questioning the way we do things, in the way that break the barrier, allow women to thrive, in the way that you also have a new identity. Maybe you wanted to be a father. You wanted to be at home seeing your child grow. But you also didn't have a choice because the identity you inherited in this culture. There was no quick fix, quick answer. But if we begin to question our own value, that actually limiting us to reach highest potential to grow our business, working with other country, the opportunity is limitless. One of the data is let's say, Fortune 100 company that had 2 or 3 female in their board executive level. They had a 40% of a higher return of investment. That's a significant amount of number. People will die to have that, right? When they did this survey, they thought it was a mistake. They completely thought it was a mistake. And so next year, they did this survey again. McKinsey did. And it came out again at 40%. So it was next year. So they've been doing this for 5 years. I'm not here to say women are better than men. This is exactly what it says is when you have a woman part of a team, they are collaborative. They bring everybody's idea and be able to gel things, and they see things in the detail so that you have a very much consolidated idea that actually move the company forward. The other thing in the startup world, only 6% of a startup are funded by VC. They are the female-led company, only 6%. Very small. However, those companies being funded, women-led company, did a 24% higher return of investment. One of the very famous successful entrepreneurs said to me once, Ari, you need to look at the place where people is not looking. That's where the opportunity lies. Sometimes, because we don't know how to do it, we shy away. But the opportunity that Japan has to integrating women, very talented women, the opportunity is so high that even though you feel you don't know how to do it, today, tomorrow, next 5, 10 years, it's certainly a huge opportunity. The whole world is looking at Japan to succeed because the quality and economical impact that Japan brings to the global level is so significant. So as I leave my conversation, I would like to ask to take action. What is innovation? The way you think. Take action more with women. I don't know what that looks like at your workplace. Maybe asking them, hey, how could we make our workplace slightly different? Maybe once a week, we have no late working days. You can bring a child in. I'm just being very American, just being creative here. I know there's a lot of constraint, but having a conversation with women to see how it's going to impact you to have a better lifestyle, life choice in the way to impact your business. Second item is a role model. We need to have a more female leader out there. Media tended to pick up people that are already famous because they want to get more people reading their magazine, right? But I urge each one of you to find a woman leader in your community that maybe they're not leader because they're not visible. Pick up one younger one. Of course they don't have a good credential yet because they're young. Then promote them. But one of the things I see in America do really well is a mentorship. Some of the senior people promote someone and make sure they stand by them and help them to succeed. Can you promote some female employee? And can you stand to help them to succeed? Can you be a mentor and have a more role model? As my talk ends, I would like to ask all of you to be the game changer. You're here today wanting to learn something. And I know as a corporation we can do a lot of things, but we're nothing as a company without every one of you making a difference moving forward. And the world is really looking forward to have more of innovation coming through Japan. And you can take action today that makes a difference tomorrow. As a closing, we women startup in Silicon Valley, not only do we help a female entrepreneur, we accelerate corporations to have innovation. The innovation sits in your closet that haven't had the opportunity to come out on the market and test the market. We have an instructor, we have a mentor network in the Silicon Valley that I'll be happy to help any way we can to bring the Japanese innovation to be out there in any way. Thank you so much for your time, and I look forward to see more of us out there making entrepreneurship alive in Japanese way. Thank you.